Look at my hair, my beautiful hair. It's who I am, it's what I wear. Look at my hair, my beautiful hair. You have my blessing. Go on and stare. Some have it on their head, some on the chin instead. Some hair is red and some is in a dread, and some look like it just got out of bed. Look at my hair, my beautiful hair. It's who I am. Look at my hair. Some have hair you like to feel. Some have hair with sex appeal. And some have hair as slick as a seal. And some have hair that isn't real. Hey, that hair ain't real. Look at my hair, my beautiful hair. It's who I am, it's what I wear. My beautiful hair. Some have it under their nose. Some have it hidden neath their clothes. And some people just feel lucky, I suppose, to have it anywhere. Oh, anywhere it'll grow. Look at my hair, my beautiful hair. It's who I am, it's what I wear. Look at my hair.
Nice.
Thank you. A silly song. The Tay-to-Tay on Thayer Street. It was a time during the late 50s. I don't know when they closed, but I remember, I would believe I was there in the late 50s or early 60s. And it was a wonderful coffee house. Everything you would ever imagine a beatnik coffee house would be. They had the espresso machines and all kinds of exotic drinks. And they also had near beer because there was no alcohol being served. But I wasn't in on it, but now that I think of some of the strange behavior and some of the, the smells in the place, that everybody was kind of smoking pot at the time, there. But it was real, it was the end of the beatnik era. There was poetry, and Mott, who was a stripper in her previous career, and she also was a singer. She liked to sing the blues. So I would sing the blues, and I would play the blues, and she would sing. And she called me Georgie Porgie one time, and tragically the name stuck.
Tragically.
The name stuck. Yeah. And that led to Georgie Porgie and the Crybabies. No, but the first one was I was 11. I got hired by a group called the Keynotes, and I played upright bass. It was for a 50th anniversary. And I made $10 that night. I think the minimum wage at the time was 60 cents. So that was like a real fortune. Yeah, I still think it's a fortune, actually. It's probably never got better than that. Yeah, and then my second one was at the Windsor in Pawtucket, playing with Joe Pederuti, wonderful, wonderful accordion player who's not with us anymore. I'm still astounded that he had that kind of a patience with me. But that was that's my beginning. And because my two sisters both played instruments, my sister Judy stopped playing the violin. She started playing the bass. So we had bass, piano, and guitar, which was lovely. So we would do. That was the invention of the Georgie Porgie trio. Wondering how you would feel. Well, one day I was in my third day of being a senior in high school, and I heard on the intercom that the principal wanted to see me, so I went to the principal office, and he said about your hair, which wasn't very long at all, that I had to cut it. And it just came from out of nowhere, and so I was surprised, I was a little bit shocked. And so I talked to him, I said, I didn't understand why, and what was it, because I was always well behaved, I wasn't like a rebel or anything. And it was the first time anybody had actually said, especially an adult, actually told me that I was misbehaving by, the way I looked or something. So I was kind of shocked about it. I was like taken aback by it because I had no understanding of why or what it would be. But now I realize that I was plagued with the disease of specialness, which there's a lot of talk about that now because probably that generation was probably the most special generation of all time. Not that we were special, but we were all taught to be special. So I left the school and I was bewildered and I didn't know what to do. I walked around for a while. And I happened to be walking by the Attleboro Sun and I said, I'll go in there and talk to somebody. So I had a nice long chat with him. I wish I could remember his name. As a matter of fact, I stopped by the Attleboro Sun to see if I could find out who it was. But I don't know who it was, but we had a wonderful conversation, and the next day it was on the front page. It went everywhere. Everybody had sent me letters, and I'd gotten clippings from China, from Russia, I guess at the time, it was the 60s, and this is what was happening at the time. I didn't want to partake in it. I didn't, just what happened. The Rolling Stones, I opened for the Rolling Stones. I know it's insane that I should be known for that. The promoter, he had a shop called Carl's Diggins. I don't know if anybody remembers Carl's Diggins. It was right on North Main Street, and it was a record store, very popular record store. And he was also a promoter, and nobody had any idea how popular the Rolling Stones were. But he knew that I had publicity and, I was well known in this area. So he was afraid that the Stones wouldn't sell out. It was always a good laugh for me. Yeah. So we opened up. It was very nice. I got to meet them. And the crowd was so loud. They were all screaming and yelling, and it didn't make any difference. But, from being in the back of the stage, you could hear them very well, and they did sound good.
Gosh, don't you feel bad for us?
I just happened to be playing at a club. It was very popular in Miami Beach, and it was a hotel and a club. It had go-go girls that danced on the table, and everybody got a can that they shook. It was like a can with little, like, kernels of corn in it or something. It was really tacky, but everybody loved it.
Homemade maracas.
Huh?
Like
Homemade maracas, and the place was so gaudy. They actually had a whole shop it was a place called the Castaways on 163rd Street and Collins Avenue, and it was a big hotel, and it was kind of a favorite place for the rock stars to come and stay, and of course it was very inviting for them to come into the club because they liked music. And they just wanted to play. They're just like any other musician. They just wanted to play. When Jimi Hendrix came in, he just asked. He said, "Wow, can I play some blues?" I said, "Sure." And it's not the kind of a place you would play blues in. It was all pop, top 40 kind of stuff. People dancing, go-go girls on the table. And he told me, he said, "Just don't announce me. I just want to play." So he did. He got up and he played his blues, and it was beautiful, and a lot of people walked out. They didn't know who it was. But it gave me a sense of, if you don't know who's making the music, it makes a big difference. But he did. He played beautifully. And Vanilla Fudge sat in. Crazy Arthur Brown did a wonderful show. Yeah, he's great. Fire, I think you will burn. I think it's like a one-song wonder.
One-hit wonder.
Yeah, but it was a great song. It was great, and he was great. John Kay from Steppenwolf was there, had a nice conversation with him. All great people. And I remember Frank Zappa coming in we were practicing during the day, and I walked over to him, and we were playing top 40 stuff, and I asked him, Frank, how's it sound? And he said, oh, just like the record, which is very musician, you know, just like the record. Beautiful. My love away. We used to work opposite a few different groups. Matter of fact, at one time, Barry and the Remains was playing at Trudy's. They were a popular Boston band. But the group that I loved was Benny Gordon and the Soul Brothers. I don't think they ever got anywhere, but they were pretty wonderful. I remember one night, Chubby Checker and Joey D came in together. You know, both kings of the twist. So they were together. That was kind of fun. And Salvador Dali was sitting there, and of course I was a big Salvador Dali fan. I used to, when I'd go to the museums, I'd always look at all his stuff, and there he was sitting there one time, so I went inside and I'm going to introduce myself to him. He was with his little entourage, so I walked up, and I said, hi, I'm George. I'm a big fan of yours, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, ooh, 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 ooh. And that went on for about 3 or 4 minutes, so I realized that maybe I should just leave, which I did. I just left. But it was nice. I got to meet him. It was nice. I'm a criminal. I was in Florida for 4 years, and I actually couldn't wait to get out of Florida. I don't think I really liked Florida. And I decided I'd come back up north. And before I left Florida, I started writing a show called The Bozo Rock Opera. And it was a murderous show on society, absolutely murderous. It had all kinds of things. It had the Pope in it, and the Pope did a dance with a prophylactic, and there was a giant fetus, and there was a drug scene, and it was my anti-world show. I realized that, you know, it was bitter, kind of, you know. But it was great. It was a really good show. Charlene was reading her magazine. Oh, Commander Video. Yeah, that was the late 70s. I decided that I would, this was after the Bozo Rock Opera period. And decided that I was going to do television. So at the time you could go on Manhattan Cable, I think it was Channel J. And so I hooked up with that and decided I was going to do a show every week. Really, I'm glad I did. I mean, it was such a fabulous time. They had all these crazy cable shows on. There were, Channel J had, I think we were between a gay show and a porno show. And that was Commander Video in the middle of that. So Commander Video was a spaceman show. Not like, I'm saying it's a spaceman show, but it's kind of thing like you'd have to say, see that's a spaceman show? Because otherwise you wouldn't know it was a spaceman show. It was just, I had a space outfit, and we had adventures. I had a little plane that used to flap its wings, and we filmed that, and it was really tacky and really cheap, but I enjoyed doing it. And I remember writing 3 space songs a week at one point, just to do it. And of course I went broke doing it, but it was so much fun. Charlene, Charlene. Oh, there was the blackout, yes. And it was quite a day in New York City, and so I decided I would go out, we would actually do some filming. But it was wonderful to see how that whole city got together and did whatever they could to keep things civilized. I mean, everybody was standing in the intersections directing traffic. People would just pick an intersection that didn't have anybody directing, and they just stood out there and they directed. I had never seen anything like that before. You know, where the whole community gets together and tries to make it work. Nice. It was very nice. So I decided I would take my pogo stick, which was the way spacemen got around, according to my my show. And so we filmed there, and it ended up being like the little introduction to the show.
She looks a lot like her.
So I put together this Elvis Sinatra thing where I got all my favorite musicians in town, all great players. Bob Pederuti, as a matter of fact, my wonderful old teacher. And Diamond Centofanti played piano. Deborah Mann did some piano playing. Shorty James. Anyways, they were all my friends, and they were all great players. So they would do all the background music to the thing, and in my studio I filmed them with a Steadicam, and Steve Bedessa recorded them on 24 tracks. So it always sounded good, and so I would project the band onto a screen, and I would sing in front of it. And then I did that in New York for 5 years.
Before the song, the silence, quiet room and empty page, until one strong voice, it fills the room, alone upon the stage. Then with one strum of your guitar, your words are sweetly met. You've planned out each and every chord. The silence you forget. You love to play without a script. Each moment improvised. Nothing's written in return. The lines to memorize. Your audience is acting to the stars of their own show. No single way to play a part, because your life is so unscripted. האש והרוח עולים למעלה, המים והארץ ירדים למטה. עבר רשות לכל האדם נתונה, לבחור בין טוב ורע. Your life's to play without a script, each moment improvised. Nothing's written in return, no lines to memorize. Your audience is acting to the stars of their own show. No single way to play a part, because your life is so unscripted. Now the song is written, both words and tune are done. You've planned out each and every chord, but the story's just begun. Each note's a choice, each choice is hard, but songs are made of choices. It isn't in your silence that we can find our voices. So note by note, and word by word, we fill our empty rooms with song. Your life's a play without a script, each moment improvised. Nothing's written in return, no lines to memorize. Your audience is acting to the stars of their own show. No single way to play a part, because your life is so unscripted. 'cause your life is so unscripted.
I am the clown who will make you laugh. With my bag of tricks I will make you laugh. Make you laugh when you're most in needing. Make you laugh when your soul is bleeding. Don't worry, mommy. Don't worry, dad. Don't worry, everybody. I will make